Welcome to Arkham Horror LCG fan-based campaign guide example, what I printed. In the previous video I showed Templi Orientis Midnight in Paris, so assuming that you survive Paris, don't go crazy or die in the streets, then you enter the shadows of Broceliande. On your way out of your hotel, you spotted Lester Crowley near a derelict kiosk and quietly approached. The bald man was engaged in a vivid conversation with a hooded man bearing a strong Germanic accent. After you approach, you could hear the strong Germanic accent, I think. From afar you heard the words Broceliande, and before you could reach the two men, they had both disappeared behind a Morris column. Then there is an introduction that asks you if you studied the book or did something else. So it's a little bit of branching. And then we enter the shadows of Broceliande. It is supposed to look like so. It uses these specs. So this is this and this is, I think, non-standard. Yeah, well, you lay it out in a 4x4 grid with the eaves of Broceliande in the top left, and some cycling things for orientation. So it's an interesting map layout. Okay, what is the card deck? Yeah, so it's the first of Broceliande is kind of labyrinth, right? So it starts with the shadows of Broceliande. It's an actual forest, by the way, and I've printed it twice, I think, because yeah. This has more saturation, that's, I think, it. Then you have the acts. Oh, these are agendas. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 3A. 2, 1. Agenda. Yeah, I think I printed it twice because it was changing, and that's one of the, if you will, curses. So in print and play land, you will often see that you are behind a few versions. So I'll have to check which one with the digital most recent files, which one is the actual one, but the main plot will be the same in this case, this scenario. So here is for the acts, Fontaine de Baraton. So it looks really nice. Let me show this like so. So Fontaine de Baraton, then Black Knights, escaping Broceliande. That's what you are going to do. But meanwhile, the game will thwart your plans by doing shifting woods, race with cultists, and hunt. So that is more or less the plot, and there is the eaves of Broceliande twice apparently. And there are a lot of forests. Porceliana, I'll show the revealed version quickly. Exists the number of locations away from the eaves of Porceliana you are. So the deeper you are in the forest, that's the how do you say, the more difficult progress becomes. So that's a nice feature. And there are some interesting parts hidden in the forest, like the heart of Porceliana and the Fontaine de Baraton. This is unavoidable if you do the print and play version. The person doing the actual cutting and printing will have to know how it works. And as always, there isn't much of a spoiler, because what happens during the gameplay is random and always different. Fontaine de Baraton. Yeah, I remember there were some changes in the front text, I think. Yeah. I had completely forgotten that I made two versions. It was free from the office anyway. So this is, for example, identical, I think. And he also used the numbering here, 39 for example. That's what many amateurs forget, and they just keep the number at 1. And there's a tool, online map tool, that aids you in building these cards. And you can set a number. Okay, so let's see, we have this. There are treacheries, enemy, Alistair Crowley, of course, and the Ordo Templi Orientis follower, Alistair Crowley again, treachery, enemy, dancer, follower, dancer, living forests, hindering roots, Ominaur's lights, hindering roots, Carl Gellner's remains, living forests, a lot of living forest. So, as you can see, printed twice, admittedly, but there are much more treacheries in the shadows of Porceliana than there are enemies. So, but note to myself that I have to check which one is the most recent. Apparently, I printed it out with more. One version with more saturation than the other one. Of course, it looks better, but I'm not sure which one of the two is the most recent one. So that is Shadows of Broceliander. Next video will be on Act 3 of the campaign of the Ordo Templi Orientis. Bye.